Mike Callahan here with SimpleGrowth. Wanted to make a quick video. Had a lot of people asking about our KPI report, our key performance indicator report. So this video actually is going to be twofold for our existing clients to answer some questions and how it works. And if you're not using a KPI report in your software, such as Service Autopilot, I want to at least lift the hood and show you some of the benefits, whether you utilize SimpleGrowth's KPI reports or build some of your own. There are massive gains of knowledge that we can find. So once we've released this out to the general public, there was a lot of questions and concerns around general database hygiene and good data in, good data out, maybe no data in, no data out, and everything else in between. So I'm going to pull my screen here up, kind of break down what we've got here. So this is the SimpleGrowth yesterday report. So what it does is it automatically emails you a report of your budgeted versus actual from the day before, and then on say Monday, it gives you the previous week. So you have an idea of where you're at as far as good data in, good data out. So on the screen here, if you can see it, is we've got the number of men or ladies on the crew here. We've got the either the solo person or the crew, the date, the service, the clock in and clock out time. So this is the start and stop time right out of the mobile inside Service Autopilot. So we have a clocked time, and we've gone in and confirmed the time. So where you may be having an issue in your reports with Service Autopilot is a lot of times Service Autopilot reports, if you customize them down, will suppress bad or missing data, because if they don't, it will lock up the report. So we've gone in and created some logic in here to let you know you've got good data here. And I'm going to show you a little bit later in the video what happens when you have bad data and how we've alerted you. But right now, this is the best case scenario. All the data is good. So we have a clocked in and clocked out time that's over a minute. We have billable hours. We have budgeted time for each job, and we have a job amount. Yes, a job amount. I can't tell you how many people have called us when we've released our second version of the KPI here that didn't have either budgeted time or even a price in here. So what happens here is, though, if you are beating your, well, let's just say if you are budgeted for X amount of hours and you hit your budgeted time, so budget and actual are equal, this average is 100%. Now, and I've got an apples to apples comparison for the 86% and 70% for myself here. And basically, if you're under 100%, you're over budget. So the difference between the 70 and 100 is 30% down here on Chad's. So Chad is 30% over budget. We've done that so you could explain to your teams, hey, you only gave 70% today. You did not give 100%. And if Chad had beaten his score and say was at 130%, he was then 30% under budget. So you can say, hey, you guys kicked butt and gave 130% today with a quality constraint. So I'm going to go in here on 8/25, which was yesterday I made this video. And this is the closeout day screen in Service Autopilot. I'm going to go in here and show you this is what we recommend for good data is we want to go in and make sure we have a good start and stop time that makes sense, a budgeted time for each job, and a price or a rate. That is going to be the things we want. We also want to have our default in for variance and actual hours. So that'll give us some clarity of if we were over budget or under budget based on the variance. So what I'm going to do here is manipulate this top one here and put in some bad data. So I'm going to say they clocked in at 8 a.m. and left at 8 a.m. So obviously that's bad data. We wouldn't have that scenario. So I'm going to go back to the report center here and refresh this and show you what the report does when we actually have bad data. And bad data will lock up your report. So if you didn't have the methodology that SimpleGrowth built in these reports, you would never be able to open this report up. And I'll actually show you one of the reports before we built this logic that actually locked up. But you can see here now, it says check your clock time, check your billable time. So what the report now is doing, if you're using the SimpleGrowth report, is you need to go in, and if you see a red checked clock time or check your budgeted time or check your job amount, we need to go in and adjust that. So Chad was averaged at 70%. Now the bad data has bumped them up to 90%. So we don't have a realistic look of what was going on there. So if you're using the SimpleGrowth report, you're going to be getting a report every day. So Monday is going to come Tuesday and so on. So if you work on Fridays, you have an automated report on Saturday as well. So you'll get an automated report at 6 or 7 a.m. from the previous day to make sure you have good data in. If you see any of these red boxes, we need to go in and change that data because it's not accurate. In addition, the whole week in review. So this whole week that we did work for, next Monday, we would get an automated report in and we would get that data. Now, what we want to do with this data here is, in my opinion, is going in and create a crew buy-in and public accountability. So right here where it says percent of budget, where it says 100 here, I would be on this job here, I would be putting the 86% on my crew. So I knew I was 86%. Now, let's go in on my jobs here as well and take a quick look at it and add less budgeted or manipulate the budgeted time so you can actually see what this looks like if I am going in and beating my time as well. So I've got one job here and I'm going to put the budgeted hours fictitiously here for 5 hours just so we can see the difference here, what happens on that dispatch board and that report. So I'm going to go in and refresh the report. But the idea is we're taking the percentage and we're putting it into a public dry erase board or TV screen where you have Monday through Friday and Sunday, whatever that is. And we're tracking the percent of budgeted. So whether over or under budget with a quality score, like something out of QDS or an NPS's social review that SimpleGrowth has. And then we have our weekly results. So this is public accountability with quality. And then if I go back into this report, it's going to break down the difference of percentage, hopefully, if I did the math right. So obviously on this job here, we crushed it and we're at 1,700%. Obviously it's completely fictitious, but you can see the average here goes up well above 100%. So traditionally what you're going to see is most companies are going to be hovering between 70%, about 30% of our budget. And then you're going to see most businesses that are efficient are going to be probably 5 to 10% under budget when they start utilizing this. But the idea here is if you're doing this yourself or using the SimpleGrowth product, you see a red box in here, we need to update that data. And anything below 100% is over budget. Anything over 100% is under budget. That's what we're looking at when we're publishing it into a public accountability board. So what this does is it's going to track your on average, are we over or under budget for each day and each week? And then at the end of the year or July at the end of the year, we would send out an automated job costing report. So we want to make sure the daily and weekly information doesn't have any red buttons in it there and they're adjusted. So when we run this report, it's going to grab like one client here. We've done 3 jobs. I mean, you may have 15 or 30 jobs here for the whole season for lawn mowing or cleaning. But what it says is, hey, if my hourly goal, so you would let us know what your hourly revenue goal is. And let's say it was $55 in this example. So this one that isn't highlighted right here up above my head, the average price increase to hit $50 per hour is 0. But the other two is $12.90 and $2.02. So on average, we need to raise our price $5.04 with no emotion based on this data. So if you're looking to get more information on how we built this out, or you're interested in this, if you go to the website SimpleGrowthKPI.com, that's where you can find out more about this for our automated reports. But I wanted to kind of make a public service announcement video for SimpleGrowth clients using our KPI reports, what it means. And if you're not using our KPI reports, but using Service Autopilot, I think it's very important that when you get a daily report automated like we have in our KPI product, that we have data checking and we're always updating this data so it makes sense. And we have a percentage average for the crews on a daily and weekly basis to let them know for accountability. So where they, and then be able to move forward with this to a yearly or twice a year job costing report for accountability. So those are the things that I would highly recommend that you track on a daily and weekly basis. And if you're using this report, if you do see any of the red areas here, so I go into this job on 8/25, I'd want to go back into my dispatch board and say, okay, I've got some bad data. I need to go in and correct that. So if I go back to the report center and I look at it for client test 1 for lawn mowing, and the clock in clock time is 8 a.m. to 8 a.m., obviously they didn't do a job that was budgeted for an hour in no time. So you need to go back to that dispatch board closeout day screen, hop back in and have accountability for your crews each day. So let's say we talk to the crew and say, yeah, we clocked in at 8 and we left there around 8:30. Maybe we can check our GPS. We plug that in. Now you've got good data in, good data out. What I'm recommending is on a daily basis, you're at the shop every day with this sheet. And if there is bad data, we're holding the crews accountable to get the good data in, good data out. And then we can run those daily and weekly reports and then job costing at the end of the year. But now, if I go back to this report center, now that I've updated it, I've ensured good data. So once this refreshes, I pull this report up, this is what we need to be doing on a daily basis. And it's not only enough to hold your crews accountable daily, you need to hold your office staff, or if you're in your office, you need to hold yourself accountable to make sure that this data is good. And once we do that, we have a real clean look at what's going on in your business. So there's a lot of data behind this. It does take a few minutes to load. That's not a flaw in Service Autopilot. The amount of data that we have in this test account is pretty enormous. But considering the amount of data, it actually is pretty good. But you can see here on the screen now, now that I've updated at 8 a.m. to 8:30, all the data is good. And Chad has beaten his time, so by 123%. So he's 23% under budget. When we have a positive number, the number below 100 is over budget. And that's Chad kicked butt today. He gave 123%. So he's 23% under budget with a quality control. So comments and questions dropping below. I wanted to make this video about KPIs, reporting and Service Autopilot. Have a really clear picture of what's going on in your business. But the only way you can have a clear picture is when you go in using the SimpleGrowth KPI and job cost reports. We need to go in daily and check any of the cells that are in red and drive them back to good data in green. And that's the only way we can go in and raise those prices and give the teams accountability feedback daily and weekly. So comments and questions drop below. And if you are a SimpleGrowth KPI client and you have not gotten this, we do need access to your Service Autopilot Report Center. Please email us at once again, help@simplegrowthsystems.com. And if you are interested in getting clarity in your business with your numbers and understanding where you're going, go to the website, SimpleGrowthKPI.com, and there'll be more information on how to build this out yourself or how we can help you if you need some help.